Hi, I'm Peju, she's Mori, and we're doing the Black Pages Navigator
to help simplify your creative journey from A to Z. B is for budget. So my top tip would be to actually just focus on creating your community or creating your brand and building a buzz naturally that would attract the kind of attention and this partnership from brands that everyone aspires to gain.
100%. And another tip from me, like minus the sponsorship, when you have a budget, make sure you're like controlling it throughout the project. Don't leave it until last minute, because there could be situations like on the event day, and if you're not aware of the numbers and then you say yeah to like a spend, the next thing you know at the end when you do your recon, you're way over budget, like that's your fault. Make sure you're like controlling it throughout the whole project.
A way to navigate the conversation of adjusting budget with your client is really to go back to the objective of the project that you're trying to achieve, and essentially going back to what everyone agreed at point of sign off. So if there is a situation where we've been in where a client would like to bring in an extra piece of activation or experience, essentially it's going to cost more. So let's talk about that first. But if it's something that becomes a difficult situation, you need to just go back to the objective of the project and just say, hey, we've delivered on the objective of this, and this is where we draw the line, unless you can find more money to fulfill the extras that you need.
Another thing, I feel like clients like make you think you can achieve a miracle with such a small budget. I like to show them what they can get with the budget they've given us and what they can get if like towards their dream if they give us more money. So just show them both options and then show them the reality, like always what you can get, because you don't want to be in a situation where you've sold the client dreams yourself and it comes to the day and they thought it was something way bigger, but you're like, no, it just couldn't achieve that within the budget they gave us. So I would definitely say just always show them the reality.
It's very important to have financial skills as a PM or event producer, because essentially you are entrusted with someone's money. You don't want to come across as somebody that doesn't know how to budget well, doesn't know how to give rationales for the budget you've put in place, and also not knowing how much things cost. You should be very confident in both those skill sets. And in terms of Excel, yes, brush up on your Excel skills, because it's actually very favourable to clients to know that they're dealing with someone that actually can speak their tool language when you're presenting back.
B is for briefs. So what I say always with briefs, be super duper clear. Anytime I do a brief, I do a written brief and then I have a call with the person I'm briefing, just so I can answer any questions they may have, because you don't want to just send a written brief and then you assume they will understand what you mean. Never do anything based on assumptions, make it super clear. And sometimes you probably don't realize yourself that you haven't briefed them properly if you haven't spoken to them. So do a written brief and then jump on a call with them at all times.
For me, I'm very visual, so my briefs will always have a visual element to them, and I think that will really sometimes help you secure that extra funding or even secure that pitch that you win, but just because you've been able to demonstrate something in a visual language that looks good. So that would be my top tip.
C, clients.
C is for clients. We've experienced a plethora of clients. The first thing that comes to mind is meeting expectations, I think, for clients. I think we're both thinking of the same client. But I think you develop a really, really good skill set in having to manage expectations of a client and holding their hand through a journey that may be new to them. And I think it's testament to a team, to yourself as a freelancer, as a creative, when a client can trust you through a process because you give the right tools, you're always reaffirming objectives of the project and just making them feel comfortable with the whole process of supplier to client relationship.
When I think of clients, the first thing that comes to mind is a needy girlfriend. And a client actually said that to me. See me as your needy girlfriend. I need you to reassure me all the time. I need you to speak to me all the time. I did think that was a bit intense, but I understand what they mean. Clients, like you said, want to be handheld through the whole process. So I'm always a big over communicator. So that means through email, that means through documents, that means through text, that means through on the phone. They just want you to be in a relationship with them where it's throughout communication. So see them as that needy girlfriend or boyfriend, because both male and females can be needy.
And also, let's just remember that after, you just know that there's going to be a breakup. So it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, this is for a time. When that time's done, see you later, you're in the bin. Well, not in the bin, sorry. We should be encouraging our clients to come back for long-term business, but just know that there will be a break in the relationship. For freelancing.
That's to be fair, I've done it well.
I've been a freelancer for 8 years this year, which is crazy. Cannot believe it. Can I just say, I started making real money about 3 years ago. So just to give insight into my journey of, it wasn't always smooth sailing, and I definitely did doubt myself a lot in the journey, but you do have to keep going, like, honestly. And I think everyone should experience freelancing because it brings out a different skill set in you that you won't have when you're in-house at a company. And also it gives you the confidence in yourself that you really understand the skill that you're bringing to the table. And with time, you'll just start to be like, oh, I can really do this. I think you start putting yourself in positions of fear, of where you can really excel in the ways that maybe if you worked in-house you wouldn't, because you'll just be doing your day-to-day.
I've done freelancing and I've done working for a company as well, and both have their perks and cons. I would say with freelancing, it's like you are your own boss, but people think, oh my gosh, that's great, but you've got to do all things yourself. So you've got to do your taxes yourself. You've got to make sure that you have a timetable where you're going to sign in at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. You have to basically be all these different hats and make sure you're in line, because if you're not, you're just going to fall short. You don't have someone pushing you there. And if you do fall short, you just lose a client. So you have to be on top of yourself. Freelancing is fun. I'm not going to dispute that there is a struggle, but it's fun in the sense that you control your day. But one thing I do say, when you have a lot of clients, it's a lot. So, yeah. P is for pitching.
So for me, I have pitched for projects in the past, and one on the basis of curation. So as a creative, you have to really think about the client you're pitching to and what ethos or objectives that they share with the online space or even the in real life space that you can bring in an event format if that's what they're after, or street format if that's what they're after. So you have to really have your ears to the streets, as they say, because you need to be able to translate whatever culture they want to bring in whatever project they want to execute, that you can deliver it because you know what communities or what suppliers can bring that idea to life.
Another thing that I want to add with pitching, make sure, don't allow the client to take piss, because you could be pitching for time, and time is money. So you need to figure out whether you want to make this a paid pitch, or if you want to make this a pitch where you're trying to win the job. Because there's been situations where I've been different rounds of decks and everything, and you still haven't got the job, but all that time is wasted and you haven't made money. So I would say put boundaries in place. If they want to see more, just be okay, we're happy to give you more, but we need to understand, are we still pitching or have we won the job? Because clients can take the piss.
And they can take your ideas and give it to someone else.
That as well. First and foremost, not all talents read the itinerary. I'm going to make this very clear. I would say the majority don't, because you still get an email asking you questions that are in the itinerary. So you just got to accept that. I feel like there's some people that do read it, which is great, but make sure you include all the information. Anytime I make a talent itinerary, I share it then probably, depending on the lead time, I would share it a week before. Mm-hmm. And then probably on the day and the day before, I'll reshare it again, because you can get lost in emails. But make sure you have their call time. I like to make their call time a bit earlier than when I actually need them, because people are never on time. Make sure you have the location, parking, things they should be aware of if they can't wear certain brands because they're filming. Just make it super clear. So, because they're always going to come back and ask you questions, but there could be the chance they don't come back and they actually look at the document. So that could be a blessing in itself.
Mm-hmm. And with this tool, I think it's important to give someone to own it, right? So you would have like a talent liaison. So then it's out of your hair, you've done the document, you've got the person that looks after it, and then they can just move forward with making sure the talent is in the room when they need to be.
I'm Peju.
I'm Mori.
And we've just done the Black Pages Navigator
To help simplify your creative journey from A to Z.